There are 220,417 reasons to talk about coronavirus. There are nearly 60,000 cases per day in the U.S. and rising. The person whose response has failed on most objective measures is not fixing his government's approach to the crisis. Instead, he's suggesting we just ignore it. The president doesn't even regularly acknowledge the huge loss of life that we've experienced here in the last 9 months. In fact, he has instead questioned whether that horrifying number is accurate. 220,000 dead. We cover COVID for them and the ones who they leave behind, forced to say goodbye through a phone screen.
I thanked him. I thanked him for being the most amazing husband and for making me feel cherished and loved every single day. Every single day, my husband wrote me beautiful love letters in my lunchbox. Not just have a great day, but just beautiful letters about what I meant to him. I thanked him. I thanked him. And then I prayed. And then the doctor took the phone. And he said, "I'm sorry, but there's no more pulse." And then I played our wedding song for him. And then that was it.
We cover COVID for those who never got the chance to say goodbye.
He was starting to decline because he did not have a horrible cough this whole time. And the 22nd is when I brought him to the hospital, and I never stopped it.
Scott, give your mom a hug for us right here. You dropped him off at the hospital. He went inside and they intubated him immediately. Did you have a chance to say goodbye?
No, they wouldn't let me in the hospital as he was begging that I need my wife. My wife makes my decisions. They told me to park the car. We thought that I was going to get to go in with him. And when I walked up to the doors, the hospital's on lockdown. They wouldn't let anybody in. After that, that was it. I never got to say, "I love you," nothing.
He would do ballet with me because we had like daddy-daughter thing at ballet sometimes. And I remember I was trying to take it really seriously and my dad dropped me and I got so upset. But then I started having fun and then we did this really funny lift and it was really funny. And we just overall like shared everything. He brought me to school, he brought me to ballet. Like he was my everything.
We cover COVID for the children who bury their mother and then 2 weeks later, their father.
I can say goodbye to my mom or my dad now. And that's what hurts me the most right now.
At least since he passed, at least we got to be with our family. We didn't have to go to an orphanage or anything.
We cover COVID for the doctors, the nurses, the hospital workers, the janitors, forced to see the suffering that we don't see.
One of the issues with the complacency in this country is that people really think it's just the old people in the nursing homes who are dying. And that's just crazy. I mean, it's not old people in nursing homes that are just sitting there dying. It's the 82-year-old grandma who lives in the house, who takes care of the grandkids so that the people can go to school, so that the mother can work, who makes that special sauce. I have these people dying. These aren't 80-year-olds that should die. These aren't 80-year-olds that were going to die next week. These are 80-year-olds that contracted a virus because a group of people just didn't want to wear a mask and they had to go out and have fun. And it really upsets me when everybody says it's just old people and it's not a big deal. I had a mom and grandmother drive themselves into my hospital, and only one drove home. It's really upsetting.
The ones lucky to survive are still dealing with the impact of the virus months later. Others who are trying to stay alive.
This disease affects not only individuals, but their entire families. And I feel so much for the people who lost loved ones. And I just want everybody to wear their mask. You know, just, you don't want this. You don't want this. It was not easy, but I'm here.
We cover COVID for the ones who have not only lost multiple family members to this virus, but their livelihoods too.
I feel very incompetent. I'm mad not at not being able to go back to where it was. I lost my dad. It's very hard. It's hard.
We cover COVID for the millions who are relying on overwhelmed food banks for their next meals. We cover COVID for the ones struggling to keep a roof over their heads, forced to leave everything they own behind.
Hello? Constable, need to come to the door.
It's my fault in the eviction. It was a lot going on during the corona. When it hit, I lost my job. So it took me like a month to get another job. This is my check, but I ain't making it with $300. It's literally $300.
Their stroller now carries their possessions.
It's mainly the kids' clothes because me and her just wear the same clothes almost every day. Make sure we got, toilet paper and a little bit of snacks for the kids.
What are you gonna do with all of your stuff?
That's trash. They can throw it in the trash because we don't have a car, we don't have help, we don't have nobody that can come, help us out right now. Nobody. We got ourselves, me and the kids and her, that's it.
We cover COVID for the ones who fear they may be next.
At this apartment, the tenant is an elderly woman who can no longer afford the rent. The landlord's mover, Francisco Munoz, works, though he doesn't want to.
I have a family, I have a sister, I have my mom, and we never know. Maybe today is her, tomorrow's me,
We cover COVID for the students who can't go to school safely and for the parents who are juggling their children and their jobs.
I just took that picture because I wanted people to see reality. And then he came over and we hugged and I was crying right along with him.
We cover COVID because at least 14 states report record hospitalizations in the last week, because we just saw the highest number of cases on a Monday since the peak in July, because experts say the next few weeks are going to be the darkest yet, and we are not, quote, rounding the turn, as the president claims. We cover it because the task force in charge of the response doesn't brief the public anymore. The president says everyone's tired of the virus. Yeah, we are. But that's where a president is supposed to come in and show leadership that can help Americans push through when they're already spent. Instead, he's talked more over the past 24 hours about Anthony Fauci's pitching arm than any of these victims that you just saw there, or the ones who are suffering and struggling. This is why we cover COVID. And until these numbers on your screen slow down, we're not going to stop.
Wow. Just wow, guys. I don't normally often bring you such long, clips on their own, but I had to show you on CNN Breonna Taylor's 8-minute smackdown of Donald Trump for basically calling CNN dumb bastards for covering COVID and the coronavirus as one of their main, if not the main story over the past few months, because they're right to do so. And I want to hammer on 3 things here. One, crucially, there's the human element. The people that have been lost, the people that are struggling, the people that are struggling with even just beyond the health side, the social and political and economic impacts. And frankly, we don't yet know what the long-term health effects will be, even of those that have gotten COVID and survived. For every story, it matters. It matters when people lose a loved one. It matters when people pass away. It matters that happens, even if the situation was handled expertly, but especially when mistakes have been made, and mistakes have been made repeatedly. Negligence has happened. It also matters that this is a moment to talk about it, because preparation before, but preparation now can save economic and emotional and social and physical pain later on. That if you make the moves, the sacrifices, the interventions, the preparations now, you can save so many people and save so much heartache and hardship. And the media has a role to play in informing folks, Dr. Fauci said last night on CNN to Chris Cuomo, where he said to people like, look, please tell people, give people the information I'm sharing to help themselves, because Trump is not going to do it, basically. That's what Fauci's implying. And so I need to say my message and hope the media brings it to them. And, I'm not always praiseful of mainstream media. But what I will say is, when they give out information that helps people protect themselves and their loved ones, they're doing an essential public service. And finally, she's right that because Donald Trump has failed, unequivocally, there needs to be leadership from the media. 100%. Without a doubt, because Trump is more invested in mocking Dr. Fauci than saving American lives, frankly, the media and everyone else has got to pick up the slack. Trump called CNN dumb bastards, but again, as I noted yesterday, the only dumb bastard on this question is him.